The twin suns of Virellion burned low over the horizon, painting the alien sky in gold and violet. A sleek silver ship descended through the mist, landing on a marble platform before the Emerald Palace, home of the most feared and beautiful ruler in the galaxy, Queen Sarathis, the courtiers whispered as a human stepped out. Humans were rare here, almost extinct after the Solar War. But this one stood tall, dressed in a navy uniform with silver marks of peacekeeping. His name was Eli Carter, a quiet man with steady eyes and a small scar that curved from his neck to his shoulder. The alien guards stared at him with cold curiosity. He could feel their eyes trace that scar as if it told a story they almost remembered. Eli walked slowly up the palace steps, his boots echoing on the marble floor. He was here to build peace between two worlds that once destroyed each other. Inside, the Hall of Crowns glittered with floating lights. Alien nobles watched him in silence. Then, from the far end, the great doors opened, and Queen Sarathis appeared. She was radiant, tall, with glowing golden eyes and hair like liquid silver. Her armor shimmered like moonlight, every movement full of silent authority. But her beauty was not what froze Eli's breath. It was her eyes. They looked at him like she already knew him. Eli bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty," he said softly, his voice calm but uncertain. For a long moment the Queen didn't speak. She stepped closer, her eyes locked on his neck. The scar caught the light, a faint line almost shaped like a flame. Her pupils widened. "Where did you get that?" she asked quietly, her voice suddenly trembling. The hall fell silent. Everyone looked at Eli confused. The Queen had never spoken like that to a visitor before. Eli touched his neck, surprised. "It's an old wound," he replied. "From a fire long ago. I barely remember." The Queen's golden eyes flickered. Anger, fear, and something like sorrow. "A fire?" she repeated. Her voice lowered. "Was it during the war?" Eli hesitated. "I don't know. I was a child. My town was attacked. Someone pulled me from the flames. I never saw their face." Her hands clenched, metallic rings glowing faintly on her fingers. The courtiers shifted nervously, sensing the tension. "Leave us," the Queen ordered. At once, the guards and nobles bowed and exited. The doors shut with a heavy echo. Now only Eli and Sarathis remained in the vast, silent chamber. She walked around him slowly, studying him like a puzzle. "You are not supposed to be here," she said. "Humans vanished from the stars decades ago. Yet you stand before me, with that mark." Eli frowned. "It's just a scar. Why does it matter to you?" Sarathis stopped behind him. "Because I have seen it before," she whispered. Eli turned sharply. "What do you mean?" The Queen's gaze softened. "When I was a child, I saw a human boy. He carried the same mark."
"He stood in the fire, and he saved me." Eli's heartbeat quickened.
He laughed quietly, unsure. "That can't be true. I was only 5 years old," she finished. Her voice trembled. "And you disappeared after that day." The room felt colder. Eli stared at her, trying to understand. "That's impossible. You couldn't have been there." The Queen didn't answer. She stepped closer, close enough that he could feel the warmth of her alien aura. Slowly, she reached out and touched the scar with her glowing fingers. A spark of light ran through her hand and her eyes widened as if a memory struck her like lightning. Her voice broke into a whisper. "So it was you." The silence returned, deep, heavy, and endless. Eli stood frozen, his heart pounding. Outside, thunder rolled across the alien sky. The scar burned faintly beneath her touch as if it recognized her too. Sarathis stepped back, eyes wide, her voice barely audible. "After all these years?" And then, before Eli could ask what she meant, the great doors burst open again. An alien messenger knelt before the Queen, shouting, "Your Majesty!" The human's arrival has awakened the old codes. The Queen turned to Eli, her golden eyes filled with both wonder and fear. "Eli Carter, what have you brought back to my world?" The camera would fade out here, leaving the audience in total suspense, eager to know the truth behind the scar and their mysterious connection. Night fell over the shining towers of Virellion City. From his chamber balcony, Eli Carter looked out at the alien skyline. Silver bridges floating over rivers of light, flying ships gliding between crystal domes. Should have been beautiful, but his heart was uneasy. The Queen's strange reaction still echoed in his mind. He touched the scar on his neck again. It was warm, almost pulsing, as if alive. He remembered the way her hand had trembled when she touched it. "So it was you," she had said, but what did it mean? Eli tried to rest, but whispers disturbed him. Strange voices drifted through the air vents, alien words, soft and urgent. He moved closer to the wall, listening. The Queen is losing control. The human has awakened something ancient. He carries the mark of the old fire. Eli froze. They were talking about him. He stepped back, mind racing. Old fire. What was that? He'd never heard the term before. A faint blue light suddenly flickered under his door. Someone was there. The door opened silently. A tall alien woman with silver markings on her face entered, carrying a data crystal. "Mr. Carter," she whispered, "please don't speak loudly. I'm Kyle, the Queen's historian. If they find me here, I'll be executed." Eli nodded, cautious. "What do you want from me?" Kyle looked around nervously, then pressed the crystal into his hand. "You must see this. There are records of the Scar of Flame, a mark given only once during the Great War." Eli frowned. "You mean this scar?" She nodded quickly. "It's not a wound. It's a seal. From the day the Skyfire fell." Eli's chest tightened. "You're saying this was made by something?" Kale's voice trembled. "Not something, someone, the Queen herself." Eli took a step back, confused. "That's impossible." "I was just a kid, saw it. She saved you," Kale said. "When the warships burned your colony, she was there as a young soldier. You protected her from the flames. Your body absorbed part of her light. That's why she knew you." Eli's mind spun. He remembered flashes, a blinding light, a small alien girl crying, the smell of smoke, and a hand glowing gold as it touched his skin. For years he thought it was a dream. "It was real," Kale whispered. "And now that you've returned, the old energies are waking again. Some in the court believe your scar holds the key of restoration. Others want it destroyed." Before Eli could ask more, a sharp sound echoed down the hall. Heavy boots, soldiers approaching. Kale's eyes widened. "They found me!" She pushed him toward a hidden panel in the wall. "This leads to the archive chambers below. Go there at dawn. The truth waits for you." She ran out before he could stop her. Moments later, the door burst open. 2 armored guards entered. "By order of the Royal Council, you are confined to quarters." Eli raised his hands. "Why? What did I do?" "Silence, human," the guard hissed. "The Queen will decide your fate." They locked the door behind him and left. Eli paced the room, anger mixing with fear. "They're hiding something," he muttered. "Something about me. And her." He turned toward the window again. Outside, lightning flashed over the city. Not white, but golden, just like the Queen's eyes. For a brief second, he saw her silhouette standing in a distant tower, staring right at him. Even across miles, he felt the same strange connection. The scar on his neck glowed faintly as if answering her gaze. Eli whispered to himself, "What are you trying to tell me?" A soft voice, and almost like a memory, echoed in his mind. "Find the truth in the fire, Eli, before the darkness returns." He didn't know if it was real or imagined, but he made a decision. At dawn, he would escape the chamber and find the forbidden archive Kale spoke of. Because one thing was clear. The Queen's words weren't just from recognition. They were from remembrance. And somewhere in the past, buried under war and fire, their fates had already crossed once before. The next morning, Eli Carter moved through the silent corridors of the Emerald Palace, his heart pounding. The twin suns had not yet risen. Pale blue light slipped through the crystal windows, painting long shadows across the marble floor. He had one goal: reach the forbidden archive before the guards found him. He remembered Kale's last words. "Find the truth in the fire, Eli, before the darkness returns." Those words echoed in his head as he followed the secret path she had shown him, a narrow hallway hidden behind a tapestry of alien symbols. The walls hummed faintly as if alive. Eli descended a spiral staircase into the deep core of the palace. The air grew colder, thicker. Strange lights flickered within the stone like trapped stars. He reached a massive steel door engraved with alien runes. At its center was a glowing handprint, shaped not like an alien's but a human's. Eli stared in shock. "It can't be." He hesitated, then placed his hand on the mark. Instantly, the scar on his neck flared with golden light. The door rumbled, ancient gears turning, Slowly, it opened with a hiss. Inside lay a vast chamber filled with floating holograms, sealed tablets, and ancient weapons. The air smelled of dust and energy. A single light hovered at the center, a glowing orb pulsing softly, whispering in alien language. As Eli approached, the orb flickered and formed an image. A young alien girl standing amidst fire and ruin, holding a small human boy in her arms. His breath caught. That's me. The memory was real. He remembered it now, and the firestorm, the cries, the blinding light. She had saved him. The girl in the hologram had the same golden eyes as Queen Sarathis. Suddenly the chamber lights brightened. The holograms around him activated, projecting scenes of the past. Ships burning, planets falling, humans and aliens fighting side by side, then turning on each other. A robotic voice spoke from the walls. The War of Suns. Final day. The Queen's protector marked by the fire seal. Eli frowned. Protector? The voice continued. The human child received the light code, an energy fragment of the royal line. The bond cannot be erased. His scar began to glow again, brighter than before. He stumbled, gripping his neck. The warmth burned into his skin like living fire. Then a familiar voice echoed behind him. You were not meant to see this. Eli spun around. Queen Sarathis stood at the doorway, her golden cloak flowing behind her. The look in her eyes was not anger, it was sorrow. Your Majesty, he said breathlessly. I had to know. The holograms, they showed us that fire. You saved me. Her voice was soft, almost breaking. No, Eli, you saved me. You were only a boy, but you threw yourself between me and the explosion. The mark you bear is part of my power. The fire seal that should have killed you. Eli took a step closer. Then why didn't you tell me? Sarathis lowered her gaze. Because the Council would destroy you. They believe humans are a threat. If they knew the light code still lives inside you, they would hunt you until your last breath. The ground trembled as alarms began to echo through the palace. Red light filled the chamber. She turned sharply toward the noise. They've detected the fire seal. They're coming. Eli looked at her, determined. Then we run. Sarathis hesitated, torn between duty and feeling. You don't understand. If you die, the balance of my world dies with you. He reached out his hand. Then come with me. We'll find the truth together. For a moment, she just stared at him, a human standing against the power of an empire. Then for the first time, the cold mask of the Queen broke into a small, trembling smile. Very well, she said softly. But if we leave this place, there is no going back. The ceiling cracked as explosions shook the lower halls. Guards shouted above. Eli turned toward the exit. Then let's make sure the truth survives. As they ran into the tunnels, the chamber behind them collapsed, sealing away centuries of secrets. And for the first time since the war, the fire of destiny burned again, and not in the stars, but in the hearts of a human and an alien queen, bound by one impossible past. The tunnels beneath the Emerald Palace were dark and endless. The walls pulsed faintly with alien light, veins of glowing stone guiding the two fugitives forward, Eli Carter and Queen Sarathis. Behind them, the thunder of boots echoed. The royal guards were closing in. Eli's breath came heavy. Where does this lead? Sarathis didn't look back. To the outer sanctum, a place no one alive has entered since the war. Her voice trembled, but her stride stayed firm. The golden glow from her eyes cast soft reflections along the crystal walls. Eli noticed her hand bleeding from a scrape, glowing faintly as it healed. He had seen many strange things in his travels across the stars, but nothing, no technology, no wonder, compared to her. They reached an ancient gate carved into the rock. Alien symbols shimmered like fireflies across its surface. Sarathis placed her palm on the center and the door rippled open. Inside lay a wide circular chamber filled with stasis pods, hundreds of them, arranged like silver coffins beneath shimmering blue light. Eli whispered, "What is this place?" Sarathis turned slowly, her face pale and haunted. "This is the sanctum of memory, where our lost are kept, and where my greatest secret sleeps." She walked to one of the pods and wiped away the frost. Inside rested a small alien girl, barely 10 years old, her face peaceful and unmistakably familiar. Eli's eyes widened. She looks like you," Sarathis nodded. "She is me, a clone, a copy of who I was before the war. My body was destroyed in the battle that night. The one where you saved me. My spirit was transferred into this form. Eli's mind reeled. Then the girl I saw in the hologram, the one I protected, was the original me, she whispered. The day you stood in the fire, your human DNA fused with my light energy. That bond gave me the strength to survive the transfer. You didn't just save me, Eli. You created me. He stared at her in disbelief. That's impossible. Her golden eyes softened. And yet here we stand. For a long moment, silence filled the chamber. The hum of the pods, the faint sound of her heartbeat. It all felt unreal. Eli finally asked, "Why hide it? Why not tell your people the truth?" Sarathis turned away, her voice shaking. Because they would never accept that their queen carries human essence. To them, humans are the enemy, destroyers of worlds. If they knew my power came from you, they'd see me as tainted. Her words carried pain, the kind that only comes from years of hiding. Eli stepped closer. So all this time, you ruled them while living with a lie? She looked up at him, eyes shimmering. It wasn't a lie, Eli, it was survival. Suddenly, a holographic screen on the wall blinked to life, an urgent transmission. A cold alien voice spoke. The Queen has betrayed the Council. Capture her and the human alive. Activate the skyward cannons. Sarathis clenched her jaw. They're preparing to fire on Earth. Eli's heart dropped. You can't let them, she turned to him. I can't stop them alone. My people will never follow a queen who sides with a human. Then don't do it as a queen, Eli said firmly. Do it as Sarathis, the one who remembers the boy in the fire. She stared at him, the tension between them crackling like static. Slowly, she reached out and pressed her glowing hand over his scar. Golden light spread through the chamber, swirling around them. For a moment, their memories fused, the screams, the fire, her small hand reaching for him as he shielded her. When the light faded, her eyes were full of tears. Eli Carter, you were the last human I ever touched with kindness. He smiled faintly. And maybe the first who ever touched your heart. Her lips parted as if to speak, but before she could answer, an explosion shook the ground above. Dust rained from the ceiling. Sarathis turned sharply toward the exit. They've breached the sanctum. We must go, now. Eli took one last glance at the sleeping clone inside the pod, the innocent child version of her, and whispered, We'll finish what we started. Together they ran into the glowing tunnels, their silhouettes swallowed by the golden mist. Above them, the alien city trembled, and the war that once ended was about to begin again. Darkness fell over Virellion city like a silent storm. The palace towers, once glowing with royal light, now flickered under emergency alarms. Sirens wailed in the distance. The air trembled with energy weapons charging in the sky. Hidden deep in the crystal gardens, Eli Carter and Queen Sarathis crouched beneath a canopy of luminous vines. The plants pulsed faintly, releasing soft blue mist that hid their heat signatures from scanners. Eli whispered, They're everywhere. Your own guards are hunting you. Sarathis's eyes glowed gold in the shadows. They are not my guards anymore, she said bitterly. They serve the Council now. And the Council fears what they don't understand. She looked up at the moonlit towers, her home, now her cage. I ruled this world for peace, but peace built on secrets always breaks. Eli studied her face. Beneath the steel of the Queen, he saw the same scared girl from the fire, the one who reached out for him through the smoke years ago. We can still fix this, he said softly, but we have to get out alive first. A rustle in the vines made them freeze. Out of the mist stepped 3 cloaked assassins, their armor coated with shadow metal that shimmered like liquid night. Their eyes burned red beneath their hoods. Sarathis whispered, The Shadow Sentinels. Eli frowned. Elite killers? The best, she said. They don't fail. The assassins moved in perfect silence, weapons glowing with dark plasma. One raised a blade aimed directly at Eli's heart. But the Queen moved faster. Her arm shot out, summoning a golden energy shield that rippled like sunlight through glass. The assassin's blade struck the barrier with a crack of thunder, sending waves of light across the garden. Eli rolled aside, grabbed a fallen spear, and swung it hard. The impact knocked one assassin back into the glowing vines which wrapped around him like living ropes. Sarathis called out, Don't kill them if you can help it. They are bound by the Council's mind chain, they have no choice. Eli grunted, ducking another blow. You could have told me that before they tried to stab me. One assassin lunged from above. Eli dodged, then fired a pulse pistol he'd taken from a fallen guard. The energy bolt hit the attacker's armor, stunning him. For a moment the chaos froze, gold and blue lights flashing between the vines, shadows twisting, energy humming. Then silence. The last assassin dropped his blade and collapsed. Eli panted, leaning against a tree that glowed faintly with alien light. "You're not bad with that shield," he said. Sarathis gave a small smile. "You're not bad with that stubbornness." They moved deeper into the forest, away from the burning skyline. The air shimmered with fireflies that weren't insects but small energy orbs drifting in slow patterns. After an hour, they reached a clearing with a shallow pool. Sarathis knelt and dipped her hand into the glowing water. "These springs feed the energy cores of my world," she said quietly. "It's where the Virellion people believe souls are born." Eli crouched beside her. "And where they return?" She nodded. "If I die here, my energy will return to the light. But if you die here," she looked at his scar, "the fire seal will fade forever. My people will lose the power to heal and the war will rise again." Eli stared at her. "So I'm carrying your world's lifeline." She met his gaze. "You always were." For a long moment they said nothing. The night hummed softly. A single golden leaf floated down from the glowing trees, landing between them. Eli smiled faintly. "Strange. I never thought I'd be hiding in an alien forest with a queen." Sarathis's lips curved just slightly. "And I never thought I'd owe my life to a human twice." Their eyes met. The air between them felt heavy, charged like the moment before a storm. But before the silence could turn into something deeper, the sky above them cracked open with a beam of red light. Sarathis's head snapped upward. "The Dominion's ships! They found us!" Eli rose instantly. "Then it's not over yet." The queen stood beside him, her golden aura flaring around her like fire. "No," she said. "This is only the beginning." Together, they looked toward the burning skyline of Virellion, a human and an alien queen bound by fate and flame, ready to face the storm that would decide the future of two worlds. The night sky above Virellion burned red. Massive alien warships drifted through the clouds, their engines rumbling like thunder. The Dominion fleet had arrived, the very faction that once tried to erase humanity. From the glowing forest below, Eli Carter and Queen Sarathis watched the sky shatter with energy beams. The once beautiful city of crystal towers now looked like a dying star. Eli clenched his fists. "They're going to destroy everything." Sarathis's golden eyes flickered with sorrow. "The Dominion believes war purifies weakness. They never stopped fighting. They only waited for the right moment." Her gaze fell on him, lingering on the faint light pulsing under his skin. "And you, Eli? You're the moment they've been waiting for." Eli frowned. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, then said softly, "The fire seal inside you, and it's not just energy. It's the core code that connects our two species. You are living proof that human and Virellion blood can merge. To them, that makes you both miracle and threat." The sound of engines grew louder. A black transport ship descended nearby, breaking through the forest canopy. Soldiers in dark armor poured out, their armor marked with the Dominion's sigil, a sun pierced by a claw. Eli turned to Sarathis. "We can't outrun them." "No," she said calmly, raising her hands. "We fight. Not as queen and soldier, but as the two who survived the first fire." Golden light flared around her, spreading like wings. The ground trembled as alien symbols appeared beneath their feet, glowing brighter with every heartbeat. The Dominion soldiers charged. Eli grabbed a fallen spear, channeling the strange warmth rising from his chest. The weapon glowed red-hot, humming with the same energy as his scar. He didn't understand it, but it felt alive, like it wanted to protect her. One soldier lunged. Eli moved faster than he ever had, deflecting the strike with the glowing spear and countering in a single motion. Sparks lit the air. Another soldier fell back as Sarathis unleashed a pulse of golden energy, disarming 3 attackers at once. The air filled with light and smoke. Energy bolts sliced through trees. Eli fought beside her, back to back, their movements in perfect rhythm. One human, one alien, their energies glowing in unison. When the last soldier fell, silence returned, broken only by the hum of the distant fleet. Sarathis fell to her knees, trembling. Her glow flickered weakly. "They've activated the Oblivion cannon." It's aimed at Earth, Eli stared in disbelief. They can, she said bitterly, and only the fire seal can stop it. The weapon's code was created from the same energy that burns inside you. Eli's pulse quickened. So I can shut it down? Yes, she said. But you'll die doing it. The seal's energy will burn your body from within. He didn't hesitate. If that's what it takes. Sarathas's eyes widened. No. I won't let you sacrifice yourself again. He stepped closer, his hand brushing her shoulder. You once stood between me and death. Now it's my turn, her breath caught. You don't understand. If you die, part of me dies too. He smiled sadly. Then maybe we live in each other's light. For a moment, the chaos of the world faded. Two hearts, one human, one alien, stood still beneath a burning sky. Far above, the Dominion ship charged its cannon, energy gathering in a sphere of crimson fire. Eli looked up, his scar glowing brighter than ever. How do I reach it? Sarathas summoned her ship, a golden craft that rose from the trees like a phoenix. You won't reach it, she said, we will. They boarded together, flying into the storm. The sky split open as beams of light streaked across the clouds. Below them, the planet trembled. Above them, destiny waited. Inside the cockpit, Sarathas reached for his hand. Eli Carter, she whispered. You are the fire that ended one war, and the flame that may stop the next. He looked into her eyes, the same eyes he had seen long ago through smoke and fear. Then let's finish what we started. As their ship soared toward the enemy fleet, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, watching as the last human and the alien queen rose together, bound by a light that refused to die. The golden ship soared through the burning clouds, racing toward the Dominion's flagship, a giant fortress drifting above the planet like a dark moon. Lightning cracked around it, red and gold clashing in the storm. Inside the cockpit, Eli Carter tightened his grip on the controls. The scar on his neck burned brighter with each passing second, pulsing in rhythm with the ship's core. Queen Sarathas sat beside him, her face calm but her eyes full of stormlight. The fire seal is reacting, she said softly. The closer we get, the stronger it becomes. Eli smirked faintly. Maybe it just knows this is the end. Her gaze lingered on him, the weight of 1,000 unsaid words between them. No, Eli, she whispered. It knows this is the beginning. They broke through the enemy's defenses. The flagship loomed ahead, a city-sized vessel glowing with crimson energy. At its heart pulsed the Oblivion cannon, the weapon that could destroy Earth with a single shot. Once we're inside, Sarathas said, you'll have to link your scar with the core node. It will recognize your human code and shut down the system. But only if you let the fire seal fully awaken. Eli looked at her. And that'll kill me, won't it? She hesitated. Yes, he smiled, quiet but fearless. Then let's make sure it's worth it. They landed hard on the flagship's outer deck. Sirens screamed as soldiers rushed forward. Sarathas leapt first, her golden aura slicing through their ranks like sunlight through fog. Eli followed, his movements faster, stronger, the fire seal guiding him like instinct. The two fought their way through glowing corridors, hand in hand between bursts of light and sound. Every strike, every breath carried their shared rhythm, human courage and alien power bound in one final purpose. Finally, they reached the core chamber. It was vast, circular, filled with liquid light that floated upward like stars underwater. At the center, a massive energy crystal pulsed, the heart of the weapon. Its glow matched Eli's scar exactly. This is it, Sarathas said. The moment everything changes. Eli stepped forward, his voice steady. Tell me what to do. You already know, she whispered. Just listen to the fire. He closed his eyes and placed his hand on the crystal. The scar flared white-hot, energy surging through him. Memories flooded his mind. The firestorm from his childhood, her small trembling hand, her golden eyes crying his name through the flames. The weapon's hum turned into a roar. Energy shot through the chamber. Sarathas ran to him, calling his name. Eli, stop, your body can't take it. He didn't answer. His voice echoed in her mind instead. If peace needs a price, let it be my light. The entire chamber erupted in gold. The cannon's red glow shattered, collapsing into silence. The storm outside faded. The Dominion fleet's engines died one by one. When the light dimmed, Sarathas fell to her knees beside him. Eli lay still, his hand pressed to the now dark crystal. The scar no longer glowed. She touched his face gently. Eli, wake up, no answer. Tears rolled down her cheeks, glowing like liquid fire. She placed her hand over his heart and felt a single faint pulse. He opened his eyes weakly. Did it work? She smiled through her tears. Yes, you saved them. You saved us. He tried to speak, but his voice was only a whisper. Then it was worth it. Sarathis leaned close, her forehead against his. So it was you, she whispered, her voice trembling. After all these years, the fire seal, dormant until now, flickered once more and broke apart into golden light. The glow spread, wrapping around both of them, lifting their silhouettes into the air like falling stars. Outside, the skies of Virellion cleared. The war ended not with an explosion, but with a breath of peace that swept through every world the Dominion once ruled. Weeks later, the people of Virellion gathered beneath the twin suns. A monument stood in the center, two figures of light hand in hand, their faces turned toward the stars. Queen Sarathis stood before it, her crown gone, her eyes soft. The war was over, yet every sunrise she could still feel his presence, not in the stars above, but in the warmth of the scar that now glowed faintly over her heart. She whispered to the sky, "You saved me twice, Eli Carter, once from fire, and once from myself." And as the golden wind moved across the alien plains, it almost sounded like a voice replying, quiet, kind, and eternal. After all these years, we finally found home.